Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where we unravel the chilling echoes of unsolved horrors. Tonight, we delve into the brutal Wonderland Murders of 1981, a blood-soaked tale from the heart of California's underworld. Can you spot the clue hidden in this twisted narrative? What key object found at the crime scene became central to the investigation of the Wonderland Murders? Share your guesses in the comments below. In July of 1981, 4 people were found brutally murdered in a small Los Angeles home on Wonderland Avenue, a quiet street nestled in the hills of Laurel Canyon. Dubbed the Wonderland Murders, this heinous crime shocked California and became one of the most infamous cases in the state's history. The victims, Ronald Launius, Joy Miller, William Deverell, and Barbara Richardson, were all involved, directly or indirectly, in the local drug trade, making their violent deaths even more significant in the eyes of law enforcement. The brutality of the murders left investigators and the public horrified. Blood stained every corner of the house, and the sheer ferocity of the attack suggested a personal vendetta rather than a random act of violence. This wasn't just a drug deal gone wrong. It was something far more sinister. The case became even more gripping due to its connection to Hollywood through adult film star John Holmes, whose involvement blurred the lines between victim, witness, and suspect. As details of the Wonderland Murders emerged, they revealed a dark world of drugs, money, and power. Eddie Nash, a nightclub owner with alleged ties to organized crime, became a central figure in the investigation, with many believing he ordered the murders as retaliation for a robbery at his home days earlier. Yet despite the suspects and theories, the case remained unsolved, leaving more questions than answers. Decades later, the Wonderland Murders continue to captivate true crime enthusiasts and haunt Los Angeles, a chilling reminder of the lethal consequences of greed and betrayal. It was a scorching summer morning on July 1st, 1981, when police officers responded to a disturbing call from Wonderland Avenue. The quiet street in Laurel Canyon, known for its bohemian charm, was now the backdrop of unimaginable brutality. What greeted officers was a scene straight out of a nightmare. Blood smeared across walls, bodies battered beyond recognition. The victims, Barbara Richardson, Ronald Launius, Joy Miller, and William Deverell, were discovered bludgeoned to death with lead pipes, their final moments marked by sheer terror. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood, mingled with stale cigarette smoke and the eerie silence that follows violence. Neighbors, stunned and terrified, whispered of drug deals gone wrong, of dangerous figures lurking in the shadows, and of the seedy underworld they had unknowingly lived beside. As officers secured the crime scene, they quickly realized this was no ordinary homicide. The magnitude of violence hinted at something deeper, something darker. Amidst the carnage, one survivor was found, John Holmes, a well-known adult film star whose fall from grace had led him to the depths of addiction and crime. Barely clinging to life, Holmes's survival raised more questions than answers. Was he a victim of the Wonderland gang's dangerous lifestyle, or was he a key player in orchestrating the massacre? As investigators pieced together the puzzle, the Wonderland Murders quickly became one of Los Angeles' most infamous and complex cases, a chilling tale that still haunts the city to this day. Ronald Launius, a Vietnam War veteran, was haunted by the horrors of war and struggled to adjust to civilian life. His descent into drug trafficking was driven by addiction and the allure of easy money. But despite his criminal lifestyle, he was deeply protective of those he cared about. His wife, Susan Launius, survived the attack, but suffered severe brain damage and memory loss, leaving her in a constant battle with the trauma of that night. Joy Miller, once a celebrated actress, turned to drugs as her career faded. Friends remembered her as a lost soul, desperately seeking belonging. She dreamed of leaving the drug scene, but was unable to escape its grip. William Deverell, known as Billy, was charismatic and loyal, often acting as the peacemaker within the Wonderland gang. His brutal death underscored the tragedy of his risky lifestyle. Barbara Richardson, the youngest victim, had no ties to the drug world and was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Her death was particularly heartbreaking as she had moved to Los Angeles with hopes of a new beginning. Each victim's life reflected desperation, addiction, and lost potential, painting a haunting picture of loyalty and betrayal within a dangerous world. John Holmes, the adult film legend, was a key figure in the case. Once a household name, his descent into drug addiction eroded his career and personal life. Holmes's addiction led him to dangerous associations with the Wonderland gang and Eddie Nash. Many believed he was coerced into leading the killers to Wonderland Avenue, but others argued he played a more active role. His shifting stories to law enforcement only deepened the mystery. Eddie Nash, a wealthy nightclub owner with ties to organized crime, was rumored to have orchestrated the murders in retaliation for the robbery at his home. Known for his lavish lifestyle and criminal dealings, Nash allegedly ordered the attack out of rage and humiliation. Despite multiple trials, Nash's connections and influence allowed him to evade conviction. David Lind, a member of the Aryan Brotherhood, became a key witness after claiming Holmes confessed his involvement. Lind's criminal background and history of violence, however, raised doubts about his testimony's reliability. Other suspects included associates of Nash and members of the drug underworld who might have had motives for revenge or personal gain. Law enforcement faced a web of deceit, shifting alliances, and fading memories. Each suspect carried secrets, but who swung the fatal blows? The truth remained shrouded in fear and silence. The night of June 30th, 1981, the quiet of Wonderland Avenue was shattered by the gruesome sounds of violence. Armed with lead pipes, the assailants forced their way into the small, cluttered house, unleashing unimaginable terror. Ronald Launius, the alleged ringleader of the Wonderland gang, was struck repeatedly with such force that his body was left unrecognizable. Blood pooled on the floor, seeping into the cracks of the wooden panels, while walls were streaked with crimson reminders of the brutality. Joy Miller's lifeless body was found sprawled on the bed, eyes wide open in eternal terror. The room, once filled with laughter and smoke, now reeked of blood and death. William Deverell, known for his easy smile, was found with a shattered skull, his final moments marked by pain and betrayal. Barbara Richardson, the youngest victim, had barely any time to react. Her death was swift, yet merciless. A young life snuffed out too soon. The house itself bore witness to the savagery. Furniture overturned, belongings scattered, and silence that screamed louder than any words. John Holmes's involvement added a sinister twist. Witnesses claimed to have seen him entering the house that night, leading the killers inside after allegedly being coerced by Eddie Nash. Blood-stained footprints, fingerprints on bedposts, and trails of destruction hinted at a chaotic struggle. Holmes, however, insisted he was merely a pawn, forced by Nash under the threat of death. Yet, definitive evidence remained elusive. The The murders were believed to be retaliation for a robbery orchestrated by the Wonderland gang at Eddie Nash's home days earlier. The stolen drugs, jewelry, and cash fueled Nash's rage. A rage that culminated in the horrific massacre. The brutality suggested personal vendettas, not just a warning. Yet despite the graphic violence, questions lingered. Why spare John Holmes? Was there an unseen hand guiding these events? The crime scene, drenched in blood and horror, became a symbol of the dark, twisted underbelly of Los Angeles' drug world. From the moment the Wonderland murders were discovered, law enforcement knew they were facing a complex puzzle. Detectives combed through the blood-soaked crime scene, searching for clues amidst the carnage. Interrogations began swiftly, but fear and loyalty often silenced potential witnesses. Surveillance on key suspects like Eddie Nash intensified, and pressure mounted on John Holmes, whose shifting accounts frustrated investigators. Police worked tirelessly, piecing together timelines, tracking down stolen items, and navigating a seedy underworld where deceit was common currency. Forensic technology in 1981 was limited, and the Wonderland crime scene, though brutal, offered little concrete evidence. Blood splatters and fingerprints hinted at a violent struggle, but contamination was a constant concern. John Holmes's fingerprint on a bedpost was one of the few tangible pieces of evidence. But was it enough? Decades later, modern forensic techniques revisited the case. Yet the answers remained elusive. Time had eroded memories and evidence. With so many twists and dead ends, do you believe modern investigations could solve this case? Share your insights below. The Wonderland murders sent shockwaves through Los Angeles, a city already familiar with crime. Residents of Laurel Canyon locked their doors tighter. Whispers of drug wars and violent retribution filled the air. Fear was palpable. Trust became a luxury few could afford. Neighbors who once exchanged pleasantries now eyed each other with suspicion, wondering who might be next. The press descended swiftly. Headlines screamed of the grisly murders, painting Wonderland Avenue as the latest symbol of Los Angeles' dark underbelly. Sensational stories of drug-fueled orgies, Hollywood connections, and organized crime dominated newsstands. John Holmes' involvement in particular became tabloid fodder. His fall from stardom a tragic subplot. The media frenzy fueled public curiosity, but often muddied the waters of truth. Many theories have emerged over the decades. Eddie Nash, with his deep criminal connections, was widely believed to have ordered the murders in retaliation for the robbery at his home. John Holmes, desperate and addicted, was seen by some as the one who led the killers to Wonderland. David Lynn's testimony added weight to these suspicions, but inconsistencies plagued his accounts. Some even speculated that an unknown third party was involved, someone with a hidden motive, someone who escaped justice. The trials that followed were marred by lack of evidence and unreliable witnesses. Eddie Nash was tried twice, but never convicted of the murders. John Holmes was charged with murder, but acquitted. His later death from AIDS closing a chapter on his tumultuous life. The legal battles left more questions than answers. The Wonderland murders remaining unsolved. Decades have passed, yet the Wonderland murders remain an unsettling enigma. Who wielded the pipes that night? Was John Holmes a victim of circumstance or a willing accomplice? What secrets did Eddie Nash take to his grave? The case lingers like a ghost in Los Angeles' memory, haunting those who seek the truth. The Wonderland Murders left an indelible mark on Los Angeles, a grim reminder of the city's underworld. It reshaped law enforcement's approach to drug-related violence and remains a chilling case study for criminologists and true crime enthusiasts alike. The story of Wonderland echoes through books, films, and documentaries, a grim tale of excess, betrayal, and unanswered questions. Did you catch the clue hidden in tonight's story? What key object found at the crime scene became central to the investigation of the Wonderland murders? Share your guesses in the comments below. Subscribe for more haunting mysteries, and remember, as always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.